outside of Felicity, who's now back in third. Intensify and Rupert's Promise. Then comes Elusive Melody, and Zenyatta is closing nicely in the center of the track. Caramel Coffee has the lead, but you better take a look at Zenyatta to run by and do it nicely. Caramel Coffee left in second. Zenyatta.
Hello, it's Bob Pandolfo on Sunday, June 30th. Welcome to Power Pace with Pandy, another edition of Morning Maidens. I'm going to show today's Morning Maidens, and then I want to talk a little bit about yesterday's. So we're going to start out here at Monmouth, and Monmouth in race number 5. Okay, so this is let's get down to race number 5. I thought I had it open. I apologize for that, but here it is right here. So this is a $40,000 maiden claiming race at Monmouth, going a mile. I think the horse that is probably going to be the favorite is Gran Yako, who's dropping in for a tag here for the first time. And he ran okay over the track last time, going 2 turns. This time he's shortening up to a mile. The horse I put on top is Holdout. Now, you can see that this horse was racing on synthetic and really, just kind of running in place. Was claimed for $50,000. This is a well-bred horse, by the way. It is, as you can see here, Godolphin. When you see Godolphin, you know it's a well-bred horse. So they claimed it from one of Godolphin's, trainers, Ian Hardy, and they ran the horse in a $40,000 sprint, and he came on and missed by a nose. Then they put him up in class, and as you can see, he just kind of, ran evenly here. You can see right here, he lacked a rally, but that was a much better field. I guess they thought that he was set to improve. So now they drop him back in for a tag, but they're stretching him out. And, when he ran at a mile in these races, it was on synthetic, which he didn't run well on synthetic, but he's running well on dirt now. He's bred to run long. You have hard spun here on the, on the dam side. And he's picking up Vargas. And Vargas does well for this trainer. You can see the stats over here. 17% for this trainer. So there's not a lot of speed in this race. I think there's some speed, but I think that Vargas is an aggressive rider. I think he'll go out and try to wire the field. If the track comes up wet, it should be okay. So I picked. Let's see what I picked for the exactus here. Yeah, I picked the favorite second, the 3, and then Ike's Gamble, who's like one of the other figure horses here. But Holdout a chance to wire him in the 5th race at Monmouth. Nicely bred horse. Then we're going to go to Belmont. Belmont in the 7th race. Now, I kind of waited a while before I made this video because I was hoping to get the changes, but Monmouth or Belmont didn't have the changes as of 10:15 here. So we have the 7th race. If it stays on turf, the horse I picked is God Laughs, who's 30-1 in the morning line. Went off at 31-1 last time. I don't think the horse is going to go off at 30-1. So, but anyway, this horse raced as a 2-year-old twice, and he was on dirt in his debut, and he just didn't, he didn't pick up his feet. I mean, as you can see, he got completely outrun. But then they put him on turf, and the dam, Talking Treasure, is a very good producer of turf horses. She's had 6 winners, 5 of them have won on turf. So that's of course a good sign. But I also like that the horse is moving into the Handle barn. He's having a very good meet. He's taking the blinkers off and adding Lasix. He's very good with Lasix too, 24%. Now it says here 12% at a root, but I know when he stretches out, he has some good numbers overall. He actually some very good numbers. This is based on a shorter term. 24% first time, Lasix. He's coming back as a 3-year-old. If this stays on turf, I think this horse stretching out, getting to turf, for again, has a chance for the new barn to score at a price. Now in this race, let's go back to my my picks here. So I picked the 1, 9, 2, 3, and now if it goes to dirt, I put my dirt picks here. But it's not as interesting of a race, quite frankly, if it comes off the turf. If it stays on turf, though, I think God's Laugh has a chance at a price on the barn change. Another thing about this horse, he faced a good field in his debut. And I looked at this race, and this was also a good field. The horses that were in this race came back to run well. So, I like that. So those are my two morning maidens for today. But I want to talk a little bit about yesterday's horses. So the horse I had at Belmont, Act of Courage, won, paid $3.50, went wire to wire. And the 7-horse Mitsotronic finished second. The Exacta paid $7.80. That was a turf race. Now, Churchill Downs, this was an interesting race, and I made a mistake here as far as the Exactas. I picked the 9-3-2 yesterday. The thing is that if you look at my power pace that race, Mugen had a 3-point advantage on speed, and he had tied for top ESR, a good adjusted pace figure. And then you look at Formula Pro. Mugen was first on ability, first on stamina, first on pace, first on average speed. So Mugen was like the obvious horse, but I didn't know Ghost Rider was going to be scratched. I didn't want to put too many horses underneath. It turns out, though, if you look at the race, Too Sharp, the horse I picked, ran second. Mugen was, there were only three horses that got bet. So Mugen was the third choice. Endless Glow, who I played in Exactas, was the slight favorite. But the Exacta came back really good. $36.56 for like the most obvious. I mean, all you had to do was use Too Sharp with the two most obvious horses. And that was my mistake for not putting Mugen in. Again, I didn't know that the other horse was going to be scratched, and I was left with only one other horse for the Exacta. Mugen did run, much better than he had been running. I mean, if you go down to this race here, he had been running okay, but he looked like a type of horse that. See, here he ran in a race at Churchill Downs his last start. He went 109-2. He lost by 7 lengths, so he ran 110-4, and he ran a 79. Here he ran a 79. Here at Churchill Downs he ran 82. So he looked like a horse that on this track was going to run maybe an 80, 79, 80, 81. He had already raced 4 times this year, so he looked like a contender for sure. I mean, this is a horse they paid $1.2 million for too, so he is a well-bred horse. But yesterday he really put it together, and he went to the lead, and he went 109-1, so he went a lot faster than he did in his prior start when he went 110-4. But compared to all these horses in the race, there was only 2 other horses that looked like they could, that were possibly faster than him. Too Sharp and then Endless Glow. The rest of the horses really didn't show much, and of course you had a couple first-time starters that were long shots here. But I want to talk a little bit about this race too. Too Sharp. Now, this is a horse that, she's a well-bred filly. I talked about her yesterday. She ran a tremendous race in this race, and it'd be interesting to see if they take her to Saratoga. I have a feeling she might show up at Saratoga. As you can see, she broke 11th, right? She broke last, and then this was if you watch this race, she made a really strong, wide move on, to gain contention on the turn. That's very difficult. So in other words, she wasn't just kind of, ambling up 3, 4 wide. Let's see, how wide do they have her here? Missed the break, recover, advance outside, round with the stalk, 4 wide, yeah. 4 wide, 4 paths, see? So she was, like I said, she wasn't just ambling up. She was charging up on the turn, 4 wide. She was passing horses like rapidly. And then she came into the stretch, and as you can see, she got within 3 lengths of Mugen. But it was just, when a horse has to go wide like that and is accelerating on the turn, and don't forget, this is a sprint. This is not like, a mile and an eighth race where they're running like 25-second, 26-second quarters coming home or something like that. A slow splits all the way. This is everything's fast here. 21-2, 44-2. The final time, was a fast race, and she's charging up. And then, of course, she just ran out of steam a little bit. She was a little short on conditioning, but her class showed as she dug in to finish second. Mugen ran a big race. Too Sharp, I don't think they'll run her in a sprint anymore. Watching the race yesterday, she's a pretty big filly. She has a nice stride. I think what they'll do is they'll stretch her out. I'd like to see her run at Saratoga, but I think this filly, is going to turn out to be a pretty nice filly. This was a very nice move. If you watch the replay, you could see that she's really charging 4 wide, and that takes a lot of energy out of you. Normally horses that make a move like that will not win. Because they're going to run out of steam in the stretch, unless they're facing like a terrible field or something. But Mugen ran a big race here. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. The last thing I'm going to mention, I've written about this many times, and one of the greatest things about the Exacta is the only bet where you can, win money when your horse loses. So let's just say that you played the horse I liked here, Too Sharp, in $10 Exacta boxes, say, with the 2 most obvious horses, the favorite and second choice, right? So it would cost you $40. You would have gotten back, let's see, $180 and change, right, for a $40 bet. $36 Exacta is just as good as a $36 winner, right? The nice thing is, though, if you're playing like a 16 to 1 shot, 17 to 1 shot, I guess would be, that horse has to win. Right? If you bet a 17 to 1 shot to win, it has to win. Finishes second, you're going to lose, right? Here with the Exactas, you can bet a horse. Now here's a horse that went off at 62 cents to $1, and anybody who was smart enough to play, there are 2 obvious horses in Exactas ended up getting a $36 payout. Good odds, 17 to 1 odds. And like a 9 to 2 return, actually, if you look at it the way I explained it, with $40 bet, and you're getting a good return, and your horse lost. You're winning money on a horse that lost the race. You don't even have the winner. And that's the thing about the Exactas. It's the only bet. There's a gentleman named Ernie Dahlman, who is a professional gambler. He's retired now. I don't think he really gambles much anymore, but he made his living playing the horses, and I know Ernie because he used to play harness racing years ago, and I used to see him and every time I went up to Yonkers to call the charts and or Roosevelt Raceway, I saw him quite often, and I talked to him quite often, and then he ended up going to Vegas and playing thoroughbreds, but he was a professional gambler for both at one time or another, and his bet was Exactas. That's all he played, and that's one of the reasons why he played him, because of the leverage. Right, because he didn't have to be right, and he was a very good. Ernie Dahlman was a very smart gambler because he understood the mathematics. All right, he wasn't even a great handicapper, quite frankly. He was a good handicapper, but he was just a very, very smart bettor, and he made a living betting horses, for decades. But anyway, I just wanted to cover those things. Lots of luck today. Remember to subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, it's going to be tough to keep making these videos. If you click on like, that would also be good, and notifications. This way you find out when I'm posting new videos. Lots of luck today. Enjoy the races. This is Bob Pandolfo, and see you again hopefully tomorrow.